Hi everyone, it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. I want to do a video on Goodreads Choice Awards for quite some time now. And the only thing that stopped me is the lack of desire to spend time and energy on books that I don't want to read. You all know these videos where people read a full category of books that were nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards. And I know that you all love it and I understand the appeal, but I also don't understand the appeal of doing those videos and also the commentary around those videos. This is something that I want to talk about. Grab your drinks, grab your makeup if you are preparing to go somewhere or you're wearing makeup around the house. I'm thinking something blue in my eyes. Blue is one of my favorite colors, as you can tell. My kitchen is also bluish. It's blue with some green mixed in. I don't particularly trust myself to do a good job, but maybe the miracle is going to happen. Also, look at this. I've been working on this paint by numbers for quite a bit. It's gonna be so beautiful when I finish it. That is what I'm doing on long winter nights. Alrighty. The Goodreads Choice Awards is a really big deal on booktube, and it became a bigger deal as the challenge videos became popular. If you are an old dinosaur like I am and you've been on booktube for quite some time now, I've been here for, oh god, I don't even want to think about it, about 10 years now. Either way, if you are an oldie in the best way possible, you'll remember that booktube wasn't exactly the same in 2014, for example. It was very basic, very grassroots, very foundational booktube. People were doing tags, they were doing wrap-ups, they were doing book hauls, they were doing a lot of reviews. Reviews were actually quite popular. And challenges weren't a thing, despite challenges being super popular in other areas of YouTube. Challenges started seeping into booktube about 5 years ago, and the person that I want to credit is Kayla from the Books and Lala. It very quickly became a trend, so we immediately saw an uptick of challenges, of creative vlogs, of taste test videos. And I want to say that the Goodreads Choice Awards videos that we've talked about are more of a taste test videos rather than the challenge videos, despite it seeming challenging. It probably is, because reading a bunch of different books that you have no interest in is not a good time. That's why I'm not doing it. The taste test videos gained popularity and people started using them to grow their channels. People were reading books that specific popular booktubers loved and that audiences were interested to hear an opposite opinion on or an unbiased opinion on. Every opinion is biased. So when the popularity reached its peak, people started reading nominees of the Goodreads challenge. And I will be firm in my stance that it is a taste test video, not a challenge, because Goodreads Choice Awards is a popularity contest. And the books that were read the most, not always liked the most even, always win. This is always a very predictable outcome. And this is why I don't understand creators and Goodreads users that genuinely seem to be upset about the winners of the Goodreads Choice. This is why it doesn't compute for me, because we all know it's a popularity contest. We know how the voting is done. You don't even need to read all the books on the list to vote, which is already unfair because you have to compare the contestants between each other in any other contest. So it's already slightly unfair because it's not judged on merit, it's judged on how many copies were read. So when we get those videos where people are surprised or genuinely seem upset, it baffles me, because you surely cannot be this naive. Or if you're not this naive, you're certainly doing it for the views. Like, come on now. There's a lot of irony here too, because you wouldn't be theoretically complaining about books picked on merit, about winning books that were determined by industry specialists, but the audiences also will not watch content around industry-related awards as much. Want to prove me wrong? Think about the last time you saw a video around a different contest that was hugely popular on BookTube. I've seen some videos on Orange Prize, but I have not seen many videos on Hugo Awards, on 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝕸𝕃 Literary, on Booker Prize. Well, I've seen some on Booker, but that's not a lot of videos and they don't get millions of views. There's Rita, there's Costa, there's the Joan Newbery Award. I'm surprised actually that there's not much following on the Rita Award because of the huge audience for romance books on BookTube and huge romance BookTube community in general. The interesting phenomenon that I noticed with the Goodreads Choice Award is that people seem to really hate it. They always critique it. They don't like the results. They don't like how the voting process is done. But at the same time, people are so hyped about it. It's like the BookTube Emmys. People want to know. They have predictions about nominees and winners. So it's definitely an event in the BookTube community. And yet it's critiqued so much. Nothing changes. Nothing is going to change because once again, it's a popularity contest. So what are we really doing here? Are we brave enough for a denser brush? I genuinely love those videos and I admire people that read all these books, all these nominees. I can't do that because I will immediately just drop all my reading and will never read again. Will probably read at some point, but I will get into a horrible reading slump. But when people pretend that they don't understand who's going to win, I just stop it. So the point that I'm getting to is this professional awards will never step into the Goodreads Choice Awards place. Goodreads Choice Awards is this popular because it is hosted on a popular platform and because people feel like they are a part of an event because they can vote for something that they like. It's really funny that the industry professionals are giving this stamp of approval. They're giving these books a label that they are great books, and the ordinary consumer doesn't give a crap about that. Isn't it incredible? I think it is. The question, I guess, that we're left with is, can we host a similar contest on other platforms? Can we move Goodreads Choice Awards? Can we make it something else Choice Awards? Because we don't like Goodreads, well, some of us, or because we just want to change the voting system. And I think the voting system can actually sustain some change and the winning books would feel like they won on merit if, for one thing, people would not be able to vote for books that they have not read and to vote in categories where they have not read all the nominees. But is there actually a platform that can host this kind of contest and actually find audience, actually be popular on their platform and on social media as well? I actually think that there could be some viable options. But first, let's get our ducks in order. One of those platforms could be Storygraph, but with a tiny caveat, or not so tiny caveat, is that it will have to become much more popular than it is right now. Goodreads is a subsidiary of Amazon, so Amazon has an invested interest in putting money into the platform, running ads on it, and also running the Goodreads Choice Awards, because the Goodreads Choice Awards is also a marketing tool. Goodreads also, at this exact moment, the biggest social media app for book lovers. It has from 90 millions to 125 millions of users. Different sources claim different numbers. Storygraph, to compare, was launched only in 2019, became popular because of a Book Riot article on it, and hosts only 100,000 users right now. It might grow, it might change, but Goodreads, and specifically Amazon behind Goodreads, has more motivation to develop Goodreads and to monetize it. So at some point, maybe they will start their own Goodreads Choice Awards, but definitely not now. I'm not predicting that it's going to happen anytime soon. There are other platforms though that do get traffic and actually host something similar to Goodreads Choice Awards. And those are Amazon bestsellers. I know, it's relentless. They don't give us a break. Then there is the scandalous New York Times bestseller list that everyone wants to be on, that everyone is trying to scam their way into, that also is probably a big industry scam as well. So the question is still up in the air if the New York Times bestseller list is influenced by industry professionals or is just a popularity contest. If you ask me, let me just pull my foil cap on my head for a second. It is rigged, in my opinion. The industry professionals definitely affected. So I personally do not trust the New York bestseller list. We can talk about the New York bestseller list in the comments as well. What do you think? Is it a scam? I think it's a scam. There are two other lists that I'm aware of that are personally invested in selling books. The Barnes & Noble list of the best of the year, I think. And there's also one in Canada, the Indigo list. Both of these are bookstore chains, and I think the strategy for choosing the best for the list is mixed. Some of them are in-play suggestions and some of them are just popular picks. So neither of this actually serve the same purpose as the Goodreads Choice Awards and cannot fully replicate the experience for the audience. But there are two media conglomerates, websites. I want to call them conglomerates because they are, well, at least the first one is pretty big, that can actually host something similar to Goodreads Choice Awards and, first of all, have the audience for it, and second of all, be able to monetize it. So it would actually be a good business idea for them. I know that there's not as much hype around BuzzFeed as there were some years ago, but it's still a really, really large platform, and they can absolutely host their own book awards. And there's also a whole section on their website dedicated to books, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. I'm actually surprised that they're not doing this already, because booktubers will absolutely make content around this. The second website that I want to mention that actually has been trying its hand at a lot of different things, for example, have a podcast, I think even more than one podcast, it's Book Riot. Book Riot has a sizable audience, and it's a very passionate audience of people that love books. It's a website that is fully dedicated to books. At some point, they even made the Storygraph happen. Well, the Storygraph happened before they did a review on it, but they certainly pushed audiences to Storygraph. And I also think that a Book Riot award can become really popular, and it would be very different to what Goodreads is offering. It will fill the same desire to choose books that you think are worthy yourself, but also the variety of nominees is going to be far better, because Book Riot has, in my opinion, a slightly more sophisticated audience than Goodreads. Book Riot, from my assessment, has less of an audience of casual readers, and Book Riot is more for people that are book lovers. It's hard for me to explain the difference, but a casual reader for me is a person that likes to read but doesn't do it in the same way booktubers read, if you know what I mean. In the same way book influencers read. In the same way people that watch a lot of booktube read. So the picks for nominees are going to be much more diverse, and I think the books that would be able to see among those nominees would be rarer books. We would be able to see more picks that are perhaps slightly underrated, perhaps are known in the intro community but are not particularly popular in the outer world. What do you think? I'm torn between BuzzFeed and Book Riot, to be honest, because I think both of these platforms would be good, but they will bring different things into a possible book award type of event. I'm also curious, what do you think is going to be a better voting scenario for a popularity contest? The element of actual readers, regular readers, voting for books that they like is the important part of the popularity of the Goodreads Choice Awards. So it's not the part that I want to eliminate. I want to see if there is actually a possibility of making this award more fair, but also at the same time to leave the choice to the readers, not to the industry professionals. Also, do you actually pay attention to award stamps on the covers of the books? Because I don't think I do. I may have been paying attention to it when I was younger and I wasn't a part of booktube, so I didn't know much about the book industry, and I didn't know anything about the books that are coming out and the publishing news. It was all a blur for me. I was mostly just picking books that people in my life recommended, and the books that other people were reading around me, the books that were popular, some books that got film adaptations and TV show adaptations. And also I just chose books by cover and genre. I went to the library, went to the section that I wanted to pick from. For example, I went to the fantasy section. There weren't really age restrictions at the time, so you could just go to a fantasy section. There weren't adult fantasy sections and young adult fantasy sections. It's something that just didn't exist at the time. And I would just choose a book that called to me for some reason, the cover of which I liked, and perhaps the description of which I liked. So I don't really think that for a person that reads a lot and for a person that knows some things about the industry, follows book influencers, these awards are that big of a deal, that they actually pay attention to them. I might be completely wrong here. I'm judging based on how I feel personally about this. So I'm curious to know what you think. Also, if you could create the perfect book award, the book award that, in your opinion, would be genuinely fair, and a book award, the stamp of which would genuinely make you buy the book, how it would look like, what the rules are going to be. What do you personally think about the Goodreads Choice Awards? Do you participate in the Goodreads Choice Awards? Do you ever vote? I have not voted in the Goodreads Choice Awards this year because I just don't care personally. But I will gladly watch all those videos where people read the nominees, because I think that they take so much effort and they're so fun, but I'm personally not willing to do it. And if you like those videos or you make those videos, this Get Ready With Me is not a stone in your garden. I don't know if the English-speaking world has this proverb, but it basically means I'm not trying to shame you, or you're not a bad person for it, or it doesn't mean that these videos are not enjoyable or bad or whatever. It's not a critique of you. It's just the phenomena behind the Goodreads Choice Awards has been on my mind a lot lately because it's the season for it and I wanted to talk about it. Now I'm going to go and film another video. I hope you liked the conversation today. I hope you are preparing for the holidays and you are in good spirits. Thank you for watching this video and I'll see you soon with another one, but until then,